Tyler and Jay.
All right.
Our guest today is 25-year-old up-and-coming country singer from Georgia, Kyle Clark.
What's up, y'all? I'm glad to be here.
Thanks for coming today. So, you recently got engaged. Is that correct?
I did. Yep.
Because I saw the TikTok. You did it at the beach, sunset, recording, and everything.
Oh, yeah.
Like, how much planning went into that? Did she, know, or how did you keep it a secret?
So she had no idea that I was actually going to do that. I kept on kind of dropping these, maybe in 6 months. Like, I'm trying to save up some money, just kind of playing that game with her a little bit.
That.
And we were going down to the beach for her birthday originally. Oh. So she, she just, I had a friend that I talked to about it, Dave Pittinger, who gave me the best advice. He was like, you should do the decoy diamonds, where basically you buy some diamond earrings or a diamond bracelet or something like that, and the wedding ring, and the engagement ring, and then so on her birthday I gave her some diamond earrings at dinner, and that's like okay. This is my gift for, this is it.
Was the delivery a lot like an engagement ring delivery would have been?
It was funny because we were in the restaurant, and I was like, I have your gift in my pocket. And she's like, you're not gonna in this restaurant right now do this, right? And I'm like, no. And then give her the earrings, and it was fun. So basically, we're down there, and her birthday was on Thursday, and then of course there's Friday happens, and we're just enjoying being down there at Rosemary Beach, and I'll talk. I guess so Saturday comes around, and that's kind of when I'm like, this is the day. I've got to do it today. The weather was perfect. Everything was beautiful, and originally I felt like if I was going to do this, I felt like this seemed like a special place, because every year my family, we've always gone down there, and that's been like our vacation spot for ever, I feel like. So I was like, what better place? It's beautiful. It'd be amazing to do it on the beach, sunset. So sure enough, I don't know what happened, but we were going to go to dinner that night, and I was going to do it on the beach before dinner. And she was like, I don't know if I really want to go out tonight. I want to just stay in. And I was like, okay.
Man, come on.
And so I was like, well, we can order some pizza, and we'll just have some margaritas on the beach. And sure enough, we go out there, and I'm like, we'll put a blanket down and watch the sunset. And so I'm like, this seems like too it's
perfect.
Just too perfect, know? And I set up my phone, because at the time I was doing a bunch of videos for Hot Out. I was trying to blow it up.
Yep.
So I was like, I want to get a cool shot of us for TikTok on the beach with the sunset in the background. It'd be great. And so I have my phone just sitting there, perfect shot. I go over, and I'm like, stand up, and we're standing there, and just I don't know, just kind of I'm holding on to her. And then I'm like, all right, this is the moment, and just dropped to one knee, and then she's just losing it, because she had no idea that was going to happen.
That is awesome.
Yeah, it sounds like I don't mean to cut you off, Tyler, but it literally sounds like the stars aligned, and one of them was our star, the sun.
Yeah,
everything was perfect.
Everything was perfect.
Clearly meant to be, Kyle.
It was pretty special. It was funny because I had one little hiccup that was happening. Because we were staying in, she didn't want to put on any makeup, and so
you can't post that.
And
you can't post it.
And so I was like, you're probably gonna want to put some makeup on, And she's getting pissed at me because
girl,
it's
put your face on. We're going out. Oh
and
Lord, here
the
we
one
go.
time, the one time you say,
yeah,
yeah,
exactly. And I was just like, well, I'm gonna do these TikToks, and you're gonna want to have makeup on. I'm sure, you're not gonna want me to post that.
Good comeback.
And so it was I covered it up real nice, but that was I was scared whenever I was trying to make this all happen, because I'm like, she's going, it's not gonna work if I drop down on one knee and she don't have makeup on in the video. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
She's like, you have to do it again.
She's like, repose.
Yeah, redo it.
I didn't say yes.
Yeah.
So are you guys childhood sweethearts? Or
we met in Nashville. And whenever I
Wow.
moved to Nashville, we both happened to meet in 2019. And we started dating October of 2019. We were friends for a little bit, and then yeah, I mean, we're now over 3 years kind of in, a little
Yeah.
over 3 years of knowing each other. But yeah, she works in the music industry as well, so I feel like that's kind of where we connected, really.
So you moved to Nashville from Jefferson, Georgia.
Yes, yeah.
What was it like growing up just outside of Atlanta?
Man, it was good. I feel like it's like having the city there was cool. I don't feel like I didn't go to it as much unless it was like football game or baseball game or something, But yeah, I mean, growing up, it was small town life, and it was just kind of like, I feel like every country song, I guess, that you hear,
Yeah.
So I felt like being around it and living it, it definitely made it easier to kind of write about it,
Wow.
Yeah,
So
so you mentioned going to like a football game or a baseball game. I'm assuming you're a Braves.
yeah,
Are you
yeah.
a Falcons fan or a Georgia Bulldog fan?
I'm more of a Georgia Bulldog fan. I was a Falcons fan, and I was pretty into what they were doing until they lost to Tom Brady.
28-3.
That was kind of it for me. I felt like I was like, man, I just don't know if I can
Can't be losing
continue.
that old man.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
I haven't really been like a huge Falcons fan, but maybe they'll change my mind. I've been a Titans fan more so just because I live there and I can go to those games a little bit easier. But yeah, definitely a Bulldogs fan more so.
I mean, looks like they had a pretty good year last year.
Oh, yeah.
And this year.
Yeah.
Yeah, it seems like good stuff follows you, Kyle.
Man.
You moved to Nashville. You meet, like, what if you don't go? You don't meet
I
this
know.
woman that you love, and you know what I
It's-
mean?
It feels like
golden.
everything's been meant to be. I honestly can say that. I feel like definitely God's been right there with me, just kind of on this path. So
Because I did read you a quote from you that said, "Surround yourself with good people," and I put it on my phone, but
Yeah.
you probably remember it verbatim.
Well,
and good things happen.
yeah, exactly. It really is true, and I mean, especially, and growing up, I think it was, my parent. It's like, your parents say like, what is it? Birds of a feather flock together, or
Yes,
something
sir.
like that. So, I felt like I was always cautious, but also just kind of like, hang around the right people, with people that want to be successful and want to be good people. It's the same thing when I moved to Nashville. It was like I want to surround myself with good people
Yeah.
and people that want to work hard and chase the same thing that I'm chasing.
Wow.
So what all like changed for you to move to Nashville to try to like make it?
Man, I mean, really, I was going to University of Georgia, and I had 1 year left at Georgia, and I got a Instagram DM from. He's not my manager anymore, but at the time he ended up becoming my manager. He's I just felt like the guy that got me in the door a little bit. But he just hit me up on Instagram and was like, "Hey, I want you to come up here and I want you to meet with Jordan Schmidt." And so I, drive up to Nashville. I skip class and I hang out with Jordan Schmidt and show him some songs. And then he was like, "Man, I want to get you up here and write with some of my co-writers that I write with." And we kind of just hit it off from the beginning. I think the first song we all wrote together, it was me, Andy Albert, and Jordan Schmidt. And immediately after, they sent it to Granger Smith, and he put it on hold. And it was like, oh shoot, man! Like this
That's
this
awesome.
went really well. He didn't end up cutting it, but it was just a like, whoa, like this is a good sign
It's a
that
surreal moment.
yeah, and it's just also like I'm like, whoa, it can happen that fast too. Like that somebody like Granger can hear your song, and it's it's just like definitely I'll say Nashville is where some dreams can come true.
So why country music? If you're outside of Atlanta, which is like the hip hop capital of the
Yeah.
world,
Yeah.
how'd you get like into country music?
Well, I feel like just like growing up around it, I feel like I appreciate all genres, and I also I listen to all that stuff. I kind of inspire off of a lot of different music, but I feel like just growing up, and I feel like the way that where my voice I feel like fits the best is in a country sound, or at least country elements around my vocals. So that's
Yeah.
kind of where I went with it.
I don't know, Kyle. I just want to say this. I don't want to jump off track because because Tyler has some incredible questions that we need to get to, but I happen to listen to, like, your vocal range is pretty astounding.
I appreciate that,
in this song
man.
alone, okay? It's the first song that I clicked on the other day when I was doing some research about you, and I was like, wow, I just could not believe that you hit some of those notes. And then I sat in your sound check, and I'm like, wow, like, this isn't help. He doesn't really need a bunch of help.
Well,
and then you
I
talked about
appreciate
being a
it.
vocal production guy, but Kyle, it's incredible. It really is, man.
I really appreciate that. I think, it comes with practice is one thing. Because, I mean, I can show y'all voice memos of me at 14.
That's awesome.
And
awesome.
it does not
Bobby
sound.
Brady.
It's yeah. I remember listening to that, and I just remember like kicking myself over and over again. I'm like, that's not right. That's not right.
I love it.
And it's like also listen. It's almost like, whenever an actor has to take over like a new accent or something, it's almost like you got to figure out what your voicing is when you're singing, because like, I mean, you can't sing things the same way that you say them a lot of times, or it may not sound as smooth, I guess, and so like I felt like I kept just beating it in my head, kind of just like listening over and over again to those voice memos, and I just kept on figuring out, correcting where can I like make my, and it's still I'm still doing it today. It's like anytime I record a new song, I'm like, how can I get my vocals better and better? So I'm constantly working. It's like a muscle, really.
That's
You just
crazy,
gotta
because
keep
kids right
working
now
out.
are thinking that they'll never be good singers.
It's it's
but
a
you
muscle.
can get better.
It's
It's
a
not
muscle.
just a Jesus thing, right,
Yeah.
Kyle?
No,
You can improve. Yeah.
You can. Some people, they have I feel like they can have a good like foundation. Sometimes that,
Sure.
and I felt like I had a
Love
good
that.
foundation, but I think that it does. It takes practice and really just working that muscle out to get those kind of that range. So yeah, I appreciate you saying that about the song.
I appreciate you.
Yeah, before we get into like your music itself, I'm a big baseball fan. Grew up playing baseball with his stepson. So in your song "Winning," you mentioned like Braves legend Chipper Jones himself, and it actually caught his attention. Like,
Yeah.
what was that like, especially being a Braves fan growing up?
It was cool. Chipper's probably I'd say he's my favorite. So I feel like it was a cool moment to have him tweet out, and also just the fact that he'd heard the song. It's like it's always cool whenever you can connect with, especially somebody that's on the other side of like, because I feel like there's a thing where it's like musicians and athletes, like we kind of envy each other is what, and so like I love
That's amazing.
I love sports, man. I wish that like I could play football. Like that's my like, I don't know. It's like it's funny. I love doing music. Like don't get me wrong, but it's like there's some days where I'm like, man, I just want to go play football.
I'm just gonna post up on Matt Stell on the break, right?
So yeah, it was just cool that he had even heard it, and then also was just like, I love the song, I would consider that, one of your hero, it's like a hero kind of
That's
saying that he likes something that you're doing. So it was cool.
So obviously your song "Hope It's Hot Out" caught TikTok's attention.
Yeah.
It actually ended up number 44 on my Apple Music playlist.
Oh, man.
Out of the 5,000 songs I listened to last year,
That's awesome.
I played it like 155 times.
That's great, man. I love hearing that.
Summer anthem.
Yeah.
How did it come about?
Man, what's wild about that song is I wrote it originally back in 2019, and it was one of the first songs I wrote whenever I got to town. And it was probably like the 7th song or something of being in Nashville. I remember like we turned it in and like to my publishing, and even to just kind of my whole team, because we were picking songs for the EP that I put out in 2020, and I really wanted that song to come out then. And I'm glad it didn't. I'm glad that, of course it was like nobody really, like, I don't think they believed in it the way that I did. Yeah. And I think that's how like a lot of things are.
Deep. Yeah.
It's like you're going to be your biggest supporter at the end of the day.
Yeah.
So I felt like I always knew something was special with that song. But it just took like, 3 years for it to kind of unfold. But man, I feel like I wasn't like thinking that was going to be my next release either. Whenever I posted it up on TikTok, I just kind of was, it's like TikTok is hit or miss. It's like some days you can catch it the right way and some days you don't. And so I was just like, man, I'm just gonna start posting up a bunch of stuff and just see if something hits. And about 2 weeks after I posted the first video, there was like 50 people that had used the sound, just putting it on their own videos. And then, I think, another week goes by, it's 100. And then after that, it jumps up to 500 and then 1,000. And then now it's at, 10,000 or 11,000 videos that people have used that sound. And like that was, I didn't have like a video that went viral, in the sense of like, oh, it had 1 million views on it. I never had a video that did, I don't even think 500,000 views on it. It was, I had all those people posting about it was like my advertisement for the song. Wonderful. It was like they were spreading the wildfire, you know what I mean? It was like, I just posted it up and they took it and ran with it. So
I was one of those people.
Yeah. Man, I appreciate it. 'Cause like that, it's seriously, I wouldn't be sitting here with y'all right now. You know what I mean? If it wasn't for people like you listening to the song.
So that's interesting because I read a clip, Kyle, that said, I read an article that said that Kane Brown encouraged you to use social media a little bit more than you had been using social media. So there was some reluctance initially, or you just, like, I don't have time, I got to grind, I'm on.
I feel like I'm such a, I just want to create. I just want to. I just want to make music at the end of the day that I love and I want people to love. Mm-hmm. And so it's hard for me to find, the drive on the social media side of things. Yeah. And it's not so much that like I'm a baby about it or whatever. Like some people are like, I know that it's necessary, but I think that I kind of can get in my own head about some of that stuff and overthink it a little bit.
Yeah.
But I love creating the music and putting it out there and seeing people respond to it. But I think like, and it just Kane, cause he had like the whole Facebook thing that was like his, how he blew up. It was one of those, it was after the show that I had opened up for him. It was cool because we were talking for 10 minutes or so and then he was like, why don't we get a picture together? And then he posts it on his Instagram story. And he's like, put your @name on there. And like, he's got like 800,000 followers at the time when he did this. And I woke up the next morning with like, I had like 2,000 like new followers from him doing that. Yeah. And so it's like, he was just kind of like saying, because I mean, I was just look at what he's become, it's like he's one of the biggest artists in the, in the world right now. So really social media can change things, and it's been clear definitely with the whole TikTok thing. And I think it goes, each social media has done this for somebody, whether it was YouTube, Facebook,
that's a great
or
point.
Vine, and now TikTok is one of those apps. And so it's just, I think, instead of like, as much as I like don't want to go on there and have to like do all these like little edits on the videos,
it's
and
time consuming
because it's very it's like it takes away from me being creative on the music side of things. And so that's where but at the end of the day, it's the other half of where we're at in music and in promoting yourself. So it's necessary at the end of the day. You can't, if you're not posting, nobody knows that you're putting anything out,
especially nowadays.
So,
And just so our listeners know, Kyle was actually signed to Sony, his like music publishing label, before Hope It's Hot Out.
Wow.
Yeah.
Correct.
So that was so whenever I met Jordan, it was kind of like, so he was like, I want you to move here. And so I moved to Nashville June 2019. And the goal was, we're going to get you a publishing deal and make sure that you can pay rent and and not have to have like some other job while you're trying to write hit songs. Hopefully,
you're like, because this TikTok is a job.
No,
it's serious.
And really like I felt like because I was still trying to do school actually during that time. I was like after I get done with the write, I would go home and I would do class. I would be doing accounting or whatever, and it was horrible. Yeah, I kind of got to the point where I actually had a call with one of the counselors at UGA. I'm not going to say any names, but she gave me the best advice, and she said, you know what, like you can't be 100% at both things.
Wow. Great advice.
And she was like, if you have the job that you already want, this college is going to be here.
Whenever.
100 years from now, 1,000 years from now.
That's great advice.
Well, like go do the opportunity you have now. And she's like telling you this as a friend, and not as the UGA counselor.
That's impressive.
So
awesome.
I was very thankful for that advice. And I kind of felt like I knew that in my heart because it felt like it was showing in my writing. It was like I wasn't given 100%. I was focused on I gotta go do class after this. So I felt like that was the best decision I made, was like going 100% into it. And so I signed my publishing deal in October of 2019. So it was a pretty quick turnaround moving there, and everything was happening very fast. And then shortly after that, like it was like a month after signing my deal, I wrote "Villain" with Lily Rose and Mackenzie Carpenter. And then sure enough, it's like 2 years later that goes gold. It's just wild how, I love the fact that, and especially it goes back to Hot Out. It's like I wrote it 3 years ago, and 3 years later, it's like having its moment. So it's like you're almost like planting a seed, and you have no idea like how long it takes to grow. It's like it could be 10 years from now before it sprouts. You know what I mean?
You're laying up treasures. You're literally laying up treasures.
I'm hoping so. It's like that's what we're doing every day. It's like I'm trying to plant another seed, hopefully another hit song.
So what's that process like for you to come up with the seed?
Man, I feel like it's like what is real to everybody. That's what I've noticed with like I've learned really over the kind of course of just being in Nashville and writing songs and failing. It's like the songs that don't have like that truth in them, or they feel like they're made up. They don't work. You know what I mean? It's like you want those songs that actually have like some heart and some real like it has to. You have to feel the authenticness
that's
about
great.
it.
Absolutely.
So that's what I'm always looking for. And of course, like you're looking for like hooky titles, but at the end of the day, like you just want to create something that makes somebody feel good, or it makes them want to cry. You know what I mean? It's like you want to make them feel something.
So are you a hook? Are you a riff before lyrics guy?
I'm more of a melody guy.
You're a melody guy.
So
that's interesting.
I feel like I want the song to like get it stuck in your head. Really, that's what I'm trying to do. It's
that's
like
interesting, Kyle.
Pop move, because it's like pop songs. Like sometimes there's not a lot of substance, but you can't forget the song. You know what I mean? It's
absolutely.
like it's stuck with you. So how can you take that and then make it a story and you get the best of both worlds? Because it's like if you've got a great melody telling a great story, that's the ultimate song.
That's ultimate.
So my goal always is because you could have a great song, and it just the melodies are kind of bland. You know what I mean? And you're just kind of like kind of boring. Good lyric, but I just wasn't really interested in it.
I want to ask one more song question.
Absolutely.
So Kyle, do you find yourself writing songs that you're going to sing, or do you? You know what? Is there, or do you feel compelled to like put one in your back pocket because you know it was made for you?
So every single song that I write, I'm always going into the room thinking, this could be like, this could be my song. Like I don't, like there's some days where somebody's like, oh, let's, try to write something for Kenny Chesney. But at the end of the day, it's like, I want to walk out of the room, and it may be for Kenny Chesney, but at the end of the day, if I don't want to sing it, I can guarantee that Kenny Chesney doesn't want to sing it.
Wow.
So it's like you just want to write something that you feel like I would get on stage and sing that, Yeah,
absolutely. And that's what I believe is going to help you take you to the next level, especially being I see that you are letting your fans choose what kind of songs you might be putting on the album. Is that coming anytime soon? Or?
Yeah, I was going to post a couple this weekend. I might move it to like maybe next week. I've got a lot of songs that probably there's probably like 50 songs that I'm just like deciding between.
There you go.
You know, like they all feel like they're good, solid songs, and I'm tired of just sitting on them. You know, it's like I want to just kind of put them out there and like just see if, you know, anybody loses their mind over something, you know what I mean? And then that can kind of drive the force of this record that I want to do. Now more than ever, people are dropping these double albums and just a bunch of music. It's like, I want to do that too.
I love that, because the trend was don't release any more than 3 to 5 songs.
Yeah.
That's crazy, right? Only do EPs.
Yeah.
And now you see these established people saying, no, here comes 24 songs.
Yeah, exactly.
Without any warning.
Yeah. And the thing is, like, because I feel like with where I'm at, it's like, you know, you look at somebody like Morgan Wallen or Zach Bryan, they have, or even like a Jason Aldean. I know he did a double album too. There's a couple big artists that did it. They are big, so at the end of the day, it's like you've got to have something that is driving people to that record. Because if I tried to drop those songs now, I just don't know if it would have enough behind it or enough people there to go. It may take a while. So if I had something that was driving it, or a couple songs that people were like, I'm excited for those songs, and then I put on 10 more of those, you know, in addition to like Hot Out and a couple songs that have been released, and really make a great record. It's like they're maybe going in for that 1 or 2 songs that they saw on TikTok or Instagram, but at the end of the day, they'll listen to the whole record and hopefully fall in love with me as the artist and just kind of the body of work.
You're just incredibly mature in your business approach, though, for a 25-year-old artist, and I bet you that's why people are attracted to you and producers.
I appreciate that.
They get it. I mean, they sit and have a conversation with you, and they're like, hey, we can invest in this young man, and it's going to count for us and him.
Well, I appreciate you saying that. I feel like I think it's just, you know, got to take it. If it's what you're at going after, you got to take it serious.
Yeah.
So I'm in it to win it. That's for sure.
So on our walk over here to the studio, you mentioned this is your first time in like the Midwest, like Chicago area, Indiana.
Yeah.
How are you liking it? So far?
It's been good. It's been a little chilly, but it's kind of that time of year anyway. So, but it's been nice. Like I said, last time I've only been to Indiana once, but it was Indianapolis, and it was for the national championship. But this is my first time getting to play in Indiana, and I've been looking forward to just kind of seeing more of. I feel like the Northwest, and even got to go to the Northeast a little bit. I guess we were in Pennsylvania. I don't know if that would be considered. Is that Northwest? What is? I think it's. Is it Northeast? I feel like Northeast, right?
Yeah, a little Northeast, right?
Yeah. Okay.
We'll
give it to him.
Geography.
We'll give it to him. But yeah, so it's been great, man. This tour with Matt has been awesome. I think there's definitely gonna be some more in the new year that we'll hopefully get to be on, and hopefully we get to come back through Indiana.
Man.
I'm sure with this album that you're about to release next year, you'll be back here quite a bit.
I hope so, man.
Maybe back with some hometown jams.
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
I'd love
man.
to. I'd love to.
So I know you got a show in about like an hour.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't let you leave without asking. So on TikTok, every week for college football, you mocked their pick'em and like had your picks.
Yep.
How was your record?
I mean, there was a couple of weeks that I haven't added up all of them, but I felt like earlier in the season I had a better record, but as the season went on, man, it got wild this season. Like, I feel like there's been so many upsets. I've been blown away just with the whole, especially the SEC with
South Carolina.
It's like South Carolina, Tennessee, Alabama, LSU, all of them. It's like I don't know what's happening right now.
Can't forget A&M either.
A&M, I mean, yeah, they're just like somehow getting these upsets, yet they're not going to a bowl game, right? So it's like I have no idea what's even happening.
Controversy there. That's
yeah.
for sure, yeah.
So I do not know but as the year went on, it definitely got a lot worse just because of how crazy the games got. I think this has been one of the more wilder years, honestly. Like the fact that there's going to be, I guess, somebody that's got a loss. Probably getting into the playoff, or
might be 2 losses.
Alabama
might come in.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. So it's pretty wild to just even LSU being 9-3 playing in the SEC championship.
Speaking of the SEC championship,
yeah,
I'm gonna have you do some pick'ems for championship weekend. You got USC versus Utah tonight. Who you taking?
Man,
Lincoln Riley.
Man, I'm gonna roll with USC. I feel like, man, they got the high. I feel like he's probably gonna win the Heisman.
Caleb
quarterback,
Williams.
yeah,
Absolutely. And then Michigan versus Purdue on Saturday for the Big Ten championship.
It's tough because I feel like it's very possible for the spoiler makers. You're
not wrong there.
They might do it, man. But I'm gonna roll with Michigan just because they put the hurting on Ohio State. I was very shocked.
That's an understatement.
I was very shocked,
especially without their running back. Blake.
Well, and then also being at Ohio State. They haven't done that. In, I don't know. It's like I don't know how many years it was. 20 or 16. It was like 16 or 20 years, something like that.
And they've won 2 straight against Ohio State.
I know, it's wild. And they
then
figured it out over there.
The Big 12, TCU versus Kansas State.
TCU's played some close games this year.
If they win, they're in the CFP.
I know they're in. I'm gonna go with TCU.
Okay.
Yep.
Last but not least, your Georgia Bulldogs versus LSU.
And dogs they're gonna come through. They're gonna come through big. I've got a feeling, man. That defense they've got. It's I felt like last year's team was awesome, but it just seems like they've just gotten better, man. They lost all those players.
They're so young,
and I'm just like I mean, Kirby Smart has a damn good team right now at Georgia. So I feel like dogs are gonna win against LSU. I think that LSU's gonna put up a fight. But I could see the dogs pulling away in the fourth quarter, just a couple scores or 3 scores at the end of it. But after that, I don't know who they'll play, but I got of course I got my dogs going all the way. I think if there's anybody that's going to give the dogs a challenge in the playoff, it would be probably either.
I'd say USC.
I feel like because it reminds me of Oklahoma. And I remember that they had that game.
It's 65% Oklahoma already.
Yeah, and so it's like I think that would be our toughest game.
There you guys have it. Kyle Clark says Georgia will be winning the national championship.
No shocker.
Thank you for stopping by our podcast.
Yeah.
And I know you got to go get ready for your show in about 50 minutes.
Yeah. No, thank y'all so much for having me. This was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was a great interview.
I'm looking forward to being back.
Yeah, we're looking forward to hearing you blow it up in there. So,
yeah,
first time ever.
It's gonna be fun, man. I'm looking forward to it.
What should we expect from your show tonight?
Man, I'm gonna start out with a little bit of it's a Lionel Richie interpolation that I've got, and we're probably gonna put it out next year. So it's one of those songs.
That's so cool.
And it's a fun song. I feel like it's gonna be, I have a good feeling about it once I start posting it on TikTok and kind of seeing what people do. But that's kind of how the show's kicking off, and then a little Bad Day to Be a Beer, and then I'm gonna play a little bit of Kenny Chesney. I have like a little bit of a mashup that I like to do.
I like that.
I like always playing Bar Friends that I wrote for Restless Road, and I'll play a little Johnny Got a Girl as well. Which I may be putting out my own versions of some of these songs in the new year as well. And then I've got a couple covers. Got another one that's new. It's called Kill a Cowboy.
Okay.
And it's a little bit like a western. So it's one of my new favorites, and I think it's coming out next year as well. And then, I got a couple other covers, and I think I'll end it with Hot Out.
Nice.
So
as you should. So if people who aren't already following you or streaming your music, where can they find you at?
Anywhere. It's at Kyle Clark Music, and my website is kyleclarkmusic.com. So really, I'm pretty easy to find, and Spotify and Apple and anywhere, Amazon Music, all that stuff. I'm on there, that's it.
There you guys
and
have
soon
it.
to be on stage.
Yeah, soon
Let's
to be on
get that boy
stage.
over there, man.
Absolutely.
Right.
There you guys have it. Kyle Clark.